Hi, this is Matt, and you're listening to Bluegrass Jam Along, the podcast for anyone and everyone who plays bluegrass. Hey everybody, it is Friday, which means it is time for another Food for Thought episode, and always it's just based on a thing that's been in my head this week. And what I did this week was listen to an episode of The String, which is a great podcast. Go and check it out. I'll put a link in the show notes. But there was a particular episode where Craig was interviewing Bela Fleck about his new album, My Bluegrass Heart, which is a unique sort of strange thing in that it's got a lot of people on it. A lot of different players, not just on the album, but like different lineups for the tour. And he talks a lot about that and the individual people and why he chose them and why he put them together and how that came about. But also talks about the people he's played with in the past, like, Tony Rice, and how some of the guitarists he plays with now differ or are similar. It's a fascinating thing. But the thing that the host Craig says at one point, he says this. He says, "I really hope folks will sit with a booklet so they can be conscious of who's playing on each track, because personnel is personality. It is the art." And I found that really interesting, the idea that personnel is personality, and it's nice and it's convenient and it fits linguistically into a nice little package. But it's true, that idea that who plays something has a drastic effect on it. And it is the art is a big claim, but if art is an expression of personality, right? Art is any kind of art is a communication of something the artist feels to other people. And so if you're a good artist, you're good at communicating who you are through your art. And so why would you not choose people who are good at that? And just got me thinking about, great examples, things like, Ringo playing drums with the Beatles. There's that classic joke that Ringo wasn't the best drummer in the world and he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. But who plays? You watch documentaries about drummers and they all say Ringo's the best. He played for the song. And there's some stuff he does that is so simple but so perfect that nobody else would do. Or some stuff that's simple and a bit quirky and it just, And there are players like that all over the place. Tony Rice is Tony Rice and nobody else ever is or was or will be. But he's, like Bela says in this interview, Bela talks about how Russ Barenberg was a sort of a melodicist that Tony wasn't, and everybody's different. And so that idea of personalities coming together to create a thing, like Miles Davis, quartets, quintets, whatever, if you put a different sax player in, the sound changes. And that's true of bluegrass bands. If you stick a different banjo player in a bluegrass band, they're going to sound different. If you stick a different rhythm guitarist in there or a different band. And so this is, I'd love to hear a bit. It got me thinking about sort of this ideal sort of fantasy lineup, or just if you could create a lineup for music that didn't exist already. And I love hearing people playing duets and as duets. And so I think what I would love is Bryan Sutton did a great album called Not Too Far From the Tree, which is him duetting with bluegrass guitarists. And I'd love to hear a volume 2 of that where he plays with sort of next generation, not just guitarists, but all sorts. But, so Bryan Sutton duetting with Molly Tuttle or Sierra Hull, or Justin Moses, or Chris Thiele, or Chris Eldridge, or Julian Lage, or the next sort of bunch of players. I think that'd be amazing. So I was kind of keen to know what pairings you'd like to hear, what kind of lineups you'd like, how you feel about personality and the idea that the people in the band sort of create the art as it is and what that means. That's kind of my food for thought for this week. It's been living in my head all week, and I'm just really keen to hear what you think. So come along to Facebook or Instagram, say hello and tell us what you think. In the meantime, have a great weekend. I'll see you next week with some more tunes. Bye. Bluegrass Jam Along is proud to be sponsored by Collings Guitars and Mandolins, making some of the finest guitars and mandolins in the world since the 1970s. Visit collingsguitars.com and find out why.